Hello everyone, welcome. Hope you're doing better. A lot of you have issues, as I've said so many times. A lot of you have issues. And what I would like to do is to give you some clues as to why you have issues. Life should be simple. But increasingly, have you noticed, life is getting more complicated. In fact, it's been getting more complicated from the very beginning. Do you remember the Garden of Eden? Some people say it's a myth, Adam and Eve. I know it's not a myth because I can see that it's true. And I see the evidence of it all around me in the relationship between men and women. And I can see that we are fallen creatures. We're falling lower and lower. Okay? We all have that sense. Every generation has that sense that things were better before. Back in the good old days. Every generation has that, but it's true. It's true. All the way back to the beginning. All the way back to the beginning. See, things were better before. Maybe materially things weren't better, or in terms of legislation and laws they weren't better, or living conditions maybe they weren't better. But the important things in life, remember? The important things in life like honor, principle, truth, honesty, forthrightness, long-suffering, patience, mercy, honor, see, patience, wisdom. We're losing as a country, as a world, as a country. We're losing it. In the very beginning, Adam and Eve were in paradise. And life was so simple. It was beautiful. God watched over them. He gave them the beautiful Garden of Eden and put Adam in charge. All Adam had to do was to obey basic rule. God gave him one rule. Don't eat of that tree. And Adam blew it. Got kicked out of paradise. Okay, then he died. Eve died, and ever since then it's been a jungle hell. Okay, so from initial state of living and it was simple. That's the point I'm making. Adam didn't have to make decisions. He didn't have to worry. See? Of course, on the other hand, there weren't challenges for him to roll up his sleeves and prove something. And initially, he didn't have knowledge to study and then lord it over other people. You know how authorities like to lord it over others? Didn't have that. But he had a rapport with his father. He had a rapport with his father. And life was so sweet. But he messed up. He was ambitious. His weakness was found out. That was the purpose of evil. See, evil has a purpose. Purpose is to test us, to see if we are made of the right stuff or not. Okay? Well, anyway, so since then we've been falling, and life is becoming increasingly complex. You can sense it in your own life. You can sense it. Today we have labor-saving devices like never before. See? Never before did we have ready-made everything. Life could be so simple. And with all these labor-saving devices, you don't have to go out and chop wood. See, you just throw a little switch. Or set the switch and then it takes care of it for you. So you have heat. Turn a little knob for cooking. See. Easy. You don't even have to write letters to people, which is a lost art. Now all you have to do is pick up your smartphone, talk to them. Yeah, so I don't have to make the point that we have a lot of labor-saving devices, and yet we claim that we don't have time. So here we are, forced to make decisions, set goals, worry, plan and scheme, try to get out of our messes. And then what? Our health suffers, our relationships suffer, and we sense deep in our being that something is missing. Okay? So every new generation comes along and people rebel. Either they rebel against what's right, as Adam did, or they conform to what's wrong. See? And wrong doesn't necessarily mean obviously wrong. Wrong can be subtly wrong. See, if you have say you have a parent who's a hypocrite, or a parent who's who always wants to be seen in a good light, who always wants to be right and never wrong, and then when you conform to that pressure, then you're conforming to something that's wrong, that's not right. See? When you go along to get along and cop out on principles, you're conforming to what's not right. So to all the world you look like a wonderful person, but you're conforming to what's not right. So you're not a wonderful person, and your kids see it. And they look at you with innocent eyes, and then you dump on them because you want to be seen as a wonderful person. See? So what you need is to see that you're living a lie, pretending to be something that you're not, blaming other people or blaming God. See, pretending that you found something when you really haven't. See, or hating. There's a lot of hate out there. It's very sad. I see it in people's, sometimes I see it in their eyes, their face. I see the hate. And it's very unfortunate. Or you sit by and let things happen that shouldn't happen. See, a lot of kids resent their father. A lot of kids resent their dad because he let things happen. He wasn't there to protect the child. Or he was there, but he let things happen. Even just letting mom boss the kids around, or yell at them, put them down, scream at them, things like that. Pressure them willfully. He sat there and let it happen. See? So the kids resent their dad for that. So we humans, as you can perhaps surmise, we're not just animals. See, we're between heaven and hell. Spiritually, we're part matter and part spirit. And so through us can come, see, through us we're like instruments. See, you probably never thought of it that way. In your willfulness, you think that everything you think is your own thoughts, which it isn't. See, you think you're living your own life, but you're not. So we're instruments. We're either willing servants of heaven, or we're pawns of hell. Most people are pawns of hell. They don't even realize it. See? So if you resent other people, if you're sneaky, if you're a little bit dishonest with them, if you're impatient with your children, if underneath you resent your husband, hate your husband, judge your husband, see, or resent your wife, if you're kind of a milquetoast, mealy-mouthed person and never stands for what's right, see, then you're definitely not a willing servant of heaven. Now, if you claim to be, but then, see, you're really not, you just pretend, it's pretense, it's put on, it's show, all surface, then your kids see that and it harms them. It harms those who conform to you, thinking that you are good when you're really not. They're conforming to a lie. It's very sad. Or they rebel. They rebel. Okay? Against your phoniness, your hypocrisy, your deceitfulness, your dishonesty, or you're lording it over them and pressuring them, and see, with letter of the law, legalism, or whatever it is. The secret for we humans is to find our way back. And it's not for everybody. Not everybody will find their way back. Narrow is the way, Christ said, and few are they who find it. Nevertheless, there are some people who don't like the way they are, but they can see that they can't change themselves. And they can also see that blaming and hating other people is not the answer. And they honestly would like to do the right thing, but they don't even know what the right thing is. See? Or they want to do the right thing, but they keep doing the wrong thing. So for those type of people, to come back to an objective viewpoint, in other words, to be able to see things as they really are, is a wonderful experience, is a wonderful thing. Okay? Because what they see is how wrong they are, which is unpleasant. It's not fun to see how wrong you are. But then you also see in the greater light of truth that you can't help yourself, that you're compulsive, that you never really had a choice. Adam had a choice, you haven't. You can't help the family you were born into, the culture you were born into. You can't help the nature that you inherited, a fallen nature, a concupiscent nature, a faithless nature, a gullible nature. See, but then you also see that that's good because it's not your fault. And so, therefore, if you haven't really found salvation yet, see, then that's good because that means you can still find it. See? So, you begin to see things in the greater light of truth. And as you see things in the light of truth, see, it's not really negative. See, in other words, the example I always give is a little child that wakes up during the night and is frightened. And there's some dark shadows moving outside the window and noises. Daddy. Daddy comes. I'm scared, Daddy. What's the matter? Well, there's shadows moving outside and noises and they scare me. So Daddy immediately sees that the wind came up and the wind is blowing the leaves, the branches of the tree, and the branches are waving in the wind, okay, and scraping against the house. So Daddy said, well, why don't you take my hand and we'll go look. So the little child takes Daddy's hand, goes over to the window, and Daddy says, look, the branches are moving in the wind, and they're scraping against the house. Oh, thank you, Daddy. Now I see what they are. I'm not scared anymore. The little child is not afraid to go and look when Daddy is there, see? So when you begin to wake up and see in the light of truth, realize that the truth is there. The light of truth, God's light is there. And in God's light, you can see your own wrong, okay? Then you don't mind seeing it because you know that you're being shown you're wrong by truth that is great, by something greater than you. See, and something that does not lie, and something that is pure, and something that loves you. It's showing you so that you can stop erring. Okay? So the truth is your friend, but you've always thought the truth was your enemy because in your egotistical fallen state, you resented truth. It felt like conscience, made you feel bad, and you didn't want to feel bad, and you wanted to be right, and you wanted to play God, so you rejected God's light of truth. But it's still there. It's always there. Still there. When you see that, Okay? Then you realize many wonderful things. Okay? You realize that God doesn't hate you. Maybe you have hated God, but he doesn't hate you. Okay? And then hope returns. Hope returns. Not a false, phony hope that you have to give yourself, but a real, true hope. Okay? Then life becomes an adventure again. Now it's an adventure of unlearning. More than it's not so much learning as it is unlearning. Unlearning all the mistakes and the wrong ideas and notions and wrong way of handling things. Okay? You wondered why things didn't work out. Well, you weren't handling it right. But now you'll see how you'll learn. Now you will learn how to handle it right. Things right. And you'll see what's true and you'll see what's not true. So life becomes a wonderful journey of discovery and adventure. Okay? And so that's why I'm here to talk about it, to make you aware that it does exist, and it's there for you. Okay? But only if you yearn for the truth. Only if you yearn for the truth. And are sincere in your searching for truth. And only if you're willing to admit you're wrong. Okay? Then it's there for you. And then, of course, I have my meditations, especially my new easy meditation and prayer meditation, which are designed to help you get out of negative thoughts. See, in your failing, born with the fallen state, born subject to sin and error, born subject to wrong authorities, born subject to a goofy culture, okay, born with all these things against you, and then people are cruel and they tease you, and then people are confusing and they tease you and they make you angry, and then you resent them, and then you feel, and see, so then you begin to hide from the truth. You prefer to hide in imagination, in thinking, planning and scheming where you think you're in control. Okay? You're not really, but you think you are, and that way you avoid the truth. See, avoid the clear light of truth, which seems cold and hard only because you resent it. So you've hidden in thoughts and in your imagination, and you became subject to that imaginative world, where thoughts cater to your ego. They always tell you what you want to hear or build you up. So you're seeking glory. The wrong ego, the wrongly inclined ego, until you learn better, is always seeking for some kind of glory, some kind of worship. See? So you imagine situations where you're putting people down and winning and getting even and coming out on top, see, or you think of where you failed in the past and try to rearrange it in your mind to make it look more to your liking, see? Or planning and scheming, trying to scheme your way out of messes you've gotten into, that sort of thing. So that's where you spend all your time. And then some people become so guilty for their negative thoughts that then they try to think positive thoughts and rosy thoughts and imagine have visualizations of wonderful things, but it's another lie. It's just more catering to your ego to try to make you feel good when you're not really good. So first you have to get right with God, as they say. You have to become right. And then your feeling right will be a natural, a natural thing. When you're right with God, when you're no longer an enemy of your conscience, when you're friends with the truth, when you're a friend of God, see, then a feeling of well-being and a quiet joy will be natural. My name is Roland.